banning specifically target champions and not so much banning the meta. So very clearly they're concerned about River, right? They're going to be banning the Viego, they're going to be banning the Jarvan. I would be concerned as well. I mean, I think he's been performing insanely well. One of, if not the best, as far as the junglers are concerned in play-ins. Even in the losses, he was trying his heart out to 1v9 on that Viego game. So it kind of feels like they've looked back at some of those games and they've just repeated this pattern that we showed against Mad, where against Mad, they just banned all 3 champions that Mad played in both games in their previous series. So they're just going to target whatever they think you performed on well so far in the tournament.
And with the Yone gone as well, we get our first pick and our first question to see how PSG adapt now. Azael, what hits your mind as a priority pick after everything's taken away?
I mean, it's going to be so interesting. You know, the Yone ban to me was a little bit of a surprise because we've seen Maple dominate so hard on the Akali, and I really do associate Yone with Quid. So I'm interested to see what they are actually trying to set up for here. You know, if they're more concerned about that, but they're just going to go stock standard. It is Orianna. Now you have to really worry about the Orianna Nocturne combo. We saw 100 Thieves really dominate with it. We also saw them get dominated by it. We have seen this combo come out a couple of times. So now the question for 100 Thieves really becomes, you know, is it high enough prio that you need to actually deny it, or can you draft something else around it to really sort of answer?
And the question I have further for 100 Thieves is, are we going to get the Syndra matchup into it as well, right? Because that's up and available. Sniper on the Renekton is something I know as well. Backstage, you're like, we want to see him more on these carries. No more of this wishy-washy Cassante B1, R1 pick instead. We get Sniper on something that can make plays.
Yeah, absolutely. Cassante, you know, yes, he can play it. He did play it 3 straight times against R7, but it's really not what he's known for. In NA, people think about him for his Riven, which he doesn't really play in competitive, but also for his Renekton and his Jax. That is the kind of style that he is really well known for. And with the Sejuani coming through, Quid is also really a melee specialist here, so it definitely could be double melee solo lanes. The Yone is banned, but he could even take a page out of Maple's book and go towards something like the Akali if he wanted to bring out something a little bit aggressive here. But these are some incredibly strong power picks over on the PSG side. It's not going to be the Nocturne combo, but it is going to be Skarner, another super high prio champion, as well as Azhi getting the Gnar. Has been really strong on the Gnar when he's been playing it, and I am, you know, thinking this is just like really strong team fight style here for PSG. I like what they're drafting in these first 3.
On the other side, 100 Thieves, instead of looking in the Akali, they went past it and they've returned to the Hwei, something we have been seeing more and more in the past couple of days here at Worlds. So we get a bit of range added in and a bit more setup from range for Quid.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the champion that he performed really well on against R7. You know, people obviously gave him a lot of criticism for the Vex, but kind of forget that Hwei game that he did turn in, which was really, really strong. He can definitely play those control mages. It's not what I would really consider his style. You know, he is more known for the aggressive skirmish-heavy champions, you know, things like Ahri if you're talking about AP, or a lot of these melee champions if you are not. But it definitely is looking like we are just setting up for some pretty heavy 5v5. But thus far, I do kind of really favor what PSG has, especially after how Azhi played on the Gnar the other day. Has been looking so damn good on it.
Yeah, the setup again, especially when JunJia getting this power pick at the Skarner. Let's see if he can have better performance. We'll go in depth because JunJia has been a massive question mark at Worlds so far, but once again, he set up the success with the playmaking jungler, or rather, the setup jungler there. Now, there is Engage taken off from 100 Thieves' side. The Rel is first to go here. Lucian on the other side as well by PSG.
Yeah, it is really interesting. You know, when you are on red side in this kind of position, you can sometimes really try to pinch the support pool, and that may be exactly what they are going to do. You ban out Rel, you ban out Nautilus. You can even take away a support here on 4 if you want, and really try to limit what Woody has. Woody is someone that does really like to go towards those hard engage supports. You know, even in the PCS, he was very much the player that was setting up for that follow-up. He's setting up for, you know, the Rumble when they're playing those, and the MFs, and in this case, he's going to be setting up for that Shockwave potentially. Is really a big fan of picks like Leona, and with the Braum getting banned out, it's possible that Eyla would want to look to try to take that away. Of course, Alistar is another good combo as well. They are instead going to go for the Varus and try to save Ayla's pick here for last to look to try to get that winning 2v2. Though it's not really what 100 Thieves are known for, and Eyla, I think, has been having a bit of a down tournament. He's looked nervous at times, and I don't think he's really kind of performing to the level that I've come to expect from him.
First international as well. I mean, the guy couldn't win, you know, he couldn't win an OPL championship back in the day when I knew him in OCE, and again, this is such a big step up for him as well after not even winning an LCS championship. So not trying to rinse the guy, just letting you guys all know that first major stage here, We're going to have to see how he does with an R5 counter pick. As Tomo, by the way, quick tidbit, 6th unique champion. He's played a different champ each and every game as he now goes up against Betty on Jhin.
This is something I've been talking about, you know, with some of the different casters here about Tomo, is that I don't rate him, you know, incredibly highly on any particular champion.
Fair enough.
But he can play basically every champion, right?
Yep.
He can play everything at a really strong, serviceable level here. You know, and
Wow.
he can bring out the supportive picks, he can bring out the Jhins, the Ashes, the whatever, but
Yep.
he can also, you know, bust out the hard carries and play Lucian or play Zeri or whatever. So he does have a lot of flexibility. There's no way we're going Varus Yuumi here.
I mean,
and
someone in the crowd got baited in, and that was a squeal. Like, someone really wants to see Yuumi, but it's Renata instead. So we get a bit more AoE to the mix here for Eyla.
Yeah, Renata making a lot more sense here. You have these two strong carries in the hwei, in the Varus that you really do need to protect.
Yep.
And it's going to make it a lot more difficult with that handshake to be able to get in there. For Skarner especially, when you're just going through with the E, you can easily interrupt that with the handshake, with the hostile takeover. So it puts more pressure there on Woody, who has been, I think, a bit more up or down than I've kind of expected from him. I was really impressed with his play regionally, but hasn't been performing, I think, to his level so far here. But obviously, a lot of this comp is going to center around that potential Alistar Orianna combo. The Jhin opens up, the Gnar is coming in on a flank, JunJia is trying to come in on an interesting angle. You know, it's all about the kind of those first moments of the fight, and 100 Thieves being able to disengage, being able to stay spread, because I do think they are quite high DPS with this Varus, expecting him to go on hit, and with the hwei, I would expect them to win a lot of these front-to-back fights, as long as things don't go tragic with that shockwave.
Well, yeah, against SHG. Now it's time to put up or shut up for a final time. Swiss spot, last one available, and 100 Thieves or PSG are walking away with it after this one. Last best of 3 before we go into the Swiss stage.
Yep, it's going to be an exciting one. We are through the Champion Select, powered by Omen HyperX, and now we'll have all those picks locked in. PSG, yeah, well, they haven't been performing, I think, to the level that, you know, people were expecting from them. They do have a very stock standard comp. They have a strong comp here. I think it is very much, you know, playing towards the meta.
Yep.
And I rate them really highly playing these style of comps. This is one of the most kind of standard meta style drafts that we've seen from them the entire tournament, right?
Sure.
And this is honestly, like, as the LCS caster, what I was kind of scared of from them coming in. You know, I was kind of hoping that they were going to be drafting some of these kind of old style meta picks, and giving 100 Thieves an edge there. But if they do have a good meta read, which game 1, I would say it looks like they do, it could be pretty scary. And they aren't grouping up for potential invade here. River will be able to spot.
Azhi walks into brush, sees River walking away.
Lane
JunJia.
swap.
It is indeed. Now, quickly, before this lane swap goes into action, I'm going to try and fit this in. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, log into your right account on lolesports.com and watch Worlds Live to earn exclusive Worlds emotes, icons, and capsules. Now, Sniper runs away from there. I'm glad we didn't get any fighting while that happened. He'll move to mid as per standard. Woody will also shadow. Azael, as you said, it is a lane swap here as Betty now moves top and looks for the shove in this way.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, 100 Thieves should not be surprised by this. This is honestly pretty smart here for PSG. You have Alistar, one of the worst early laners here, going up against a Varus, and a Renata is going to be incredibly tough. PSG are going to dual lane their top and ADC up in that top lane. They do have the Skarner taking away the enemy jungle camp, so we'll have to see if River can get down and cross map to try to take away some of their camps. While Quid and Sniper, the two 100 Thieves solo laners, are the ones kind of just 2v2ing here. So it's a very interesting setup. You know, we see a lot more of these kind of dual lanes mid. This is something that was really popularized in the LCK, but it was a lot more of when we had that kind of AD carry meta, both supports would go mid, and we just have like essentially what looked like bot lanes laning mid.
Yeah, it looks like the strangest configuration. Imagine if you're just starting to watch League now and you're like, wait, or at least coming back to it. What happened to my game as we get a 3-man push in bot? Massive wave here. Remembering that bot turret is always going to be the squishier.
Exactly. It's been a pretty big change on this patch that people have been talking about. You know, this is a lot squishier on that bottom side compared to what is up on that top side with the fortification. They also made it so that additional people being around, it's not stacking up nearly as much in armor as it did after every plate is cracked. So they are here. PSG's going to try to defend this, but they're TPing in.
Azhi is level 3. He's on a Mega Gnar as well. He gets a stun down, but there's no aggro yet. Flash and set from Sniper. We're looking at the picture-in-picture, but Woody's about to die. He flash headbutts, pulverizes to get on out, but Tomo matches in. River about to die, but before he does, he goes out and he trades 1 for 1. In the end, it was first blood over to Tomo, but in response, a kill over to JunJia.
Yeah, they try to go really aggressive there. They do end up taking down Woody. The trade on Summoners pretty even overall, and it is going to be first blood there, as you say, for Varus. So 100 Thieves going to be pretty happy about this. as Sniper goes back up towards top. Did TP up there, but had no buy, really, so is going to be able to get pushed out by the Jhin. We'll see if he can pick up the wave before he leaves.
Azhi was able to pick up some CS from what looked like the whole rotation.
But
as you said, he's getting the push out here. That's why those numbers are inflated for now, and Eyla was just hovering in fog of war, holding the wave to slow it down.
Yeah, this could be a little bit dicey for Sniper. You know, now we see that Woody is heading back up towards top side, so he's going to get pushed off. He has no TP, and this gets pretty awkward here because they didn't elect to actually swap back to try to match or anything like that. So now Sniper is going to be missing out on a lot of this, and I don't really think 100 Thieves are in a position to actually pressure Azhi off. We'll see if River comes down and tries to do that because they're kind of forced to make a play here. It looks like Eyla, though, is going to base, and he's going to try to walk top and get Sniper back towards this wave, get him picking up some of the CS. So even though 100 Thieves got 2-plate spot, even though they got first blood, it's evened out by the fact that PSG is getting more farm, and Sniper really got punished. He's gotten zoned off completely.
And again, I mean, still getting sniped off, or rather, sorry, zoned off. No pun intended, no meaning. That first plate is eventually going to fall on down. You can see bot as well. Azhi was walking over a ward that was between waves. I believe that just expired as he was crossing back down to the bot wave. So they keep it same. While Eyla, as he clears out, is now also spotted on a ward, so respect is given by PSG.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Eyla, they realize, okay, we can't actually dive the Gnar, so I just have to go top to try to cover and continue moving around the map here. We do see that Betty has those Swifties. He's going to be going right back out towards top, so we'll see if 100 Thieves does anticipate that or exactly what their move is going to be as Tomo has the wave crashing in. He's going to be able to pick this up and is in a really good spot.
Are you still excited by these? I mean, I don't know if you initially were, but
lane swaps?
And Emily still loves lane swaps, I think, but what camp are you with these days?
Yeah, I mean, I think lane swaps can be really interesting. I mean, my feeling on lane swaps is generally pretty similar to my feeling about everything in League, where I like seeing innovation, I like seeing variety, and I like seeing the evolution of it, but when anything becomes an every game, then it gets less interesting to me.
And to be fair, it's not an every game anymore, is it? And also the lane swaps changed, like top laners playing to around mid, that adaptation you talk about.
Exactly, and that's the part that is interesting to me, seeing where people can try to evolve a strategy and push it forward to create, you know, additional advantages, right? And that's something that in the LCS, TL was really, really well known for doing, is always kind of the evolution of that lane swap and changing things up to try to get little edges here. I think PSG used it very well. 300-400 gold lead for 100 Thieves. Honestly, who cares? You got your Alistar out of what would have been a really difficult lane. 100 Thieves, though, coming over to potentially contest, but they are pretty late.
They are indeed. Flash away. Eyla had to burn that really early into the fight. 2 grubs have already been taken by PSG. Is he engaged, set up by River? He's got a level advantage with the permafrost as well. He's running for his life. Azhi just killed Tomo! Wait, bot! That was a solo kill from the level 6 Gnar.
Yeah, Tomo getting caught out there. I'm not sure if he'd even gone back to base yet. I guess he maybe had. I don't know. I mean, he maybe thought that he was actually going to be safe. He didn't have flash, so probably just got ran down. And we did see that flash from Eyla. That was the shockwave used from Maple that, you know, was able to kind of force that.
Yeah.
But it does allow 100 Thieves to at least take one of those grubs away. Azhi, I talked about it. This guy's Gnar is very, very scary. He's been performing really well on it, and it's definitely a concern to see him getting ahead. Sniper, you know, was definitely not in a good spot out of these lane swaps, and yeah, just no flash on Tomo, and just going to get caught by the Mega Gnar pretty much guaranteed here.
Looks like it's going to be a W into an ult shortly. Azhi, just clean play. Set up early.
Yeah, nicely done. I mean, Tomo just not necessarily seeing the angle for that. Thought he was going to be safe, was pretty far back, but the Mega Gnar hop in, able to catch him.
And it comes back to something you mentioned earlier, Azael, as well. We look at that Mercedes-Benz featured matchup. It's not about the players I'm going to talk about right now, as Maple and River go head-to-head, some history there. My point was going to be that, you know, you mentioned Sniper wasn't getting too much from that lane. The CS advantage now rearing its head as Azhi has just stayed towards bot. He's got a kill as well. 620 gold up is a massive lead for the star player, or one of the star players, when PSG put so much resources into this guy naturally anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's in an incredible spot. You know, Sniper obviously has been put down quite a lot in this lane swap, and this is one of the things that they talked about as kind of a weakness for him. You know, this is the youngest player in all of Worlds here playing. This guy was a tiny little kid when the lane swaps were out last meta, right? Like, he had to fully learn this from scratch, and
he was like 12 when Faker, you know, even before, younger when, you know, Faker won his first World. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, even younger than that.
All right, Chain of Corruption brings us off. It's an Impale, though, so kept in place. River can't get out. He has to Arctic Assault in the end. Woody's zone controls as Azhi is about to go Mega Gnar, and even though JunJia's low, they got to respect this big top laner of PSG.
Yeah, I mean, back in, it was, what, 2013, right? So Sniper would have been like 6.
Oh, Jesus.
So, you know, it's definitely, you don't want to go too far into that at our age.
No. That's crazy.
But 100 Thieves here, you know, not able to pull off the dive on the bot side, well defended by PSG, and PSG opening up a nice advantage. And as I said, you know, I kind of expect them to play the better macro game than 100 Thieves. So if 100 Thieves are, you know, gonna fail on one of these early fights, I'm gonna get really concerned for their chances in this game, because PSG, Azhi is set up well to play through the side lanes, and they're moving around the map, you know, so much better than what 100 Thieves is doing. And as a result, the Renekton's been put very far behind, and as we know, Renekton from behind, you just really aren't offering a lot. So Sniper's going to have to find a way to be able to get some sort of impact in this game and put himself into a better spot.
Whereas you can see he finally gets some solo time in the lane, but Azhi has that TP ready to match top, so CS is still going to lead by about 15 here once Azhi is done with said wave. Sniper goes back Phage in inventory, so he's playing that game of catch-up that we were talking about before.
Yeah, and in this matchup, Renekton versus Gnar is so much about the move speed, right? Yep. And when he has this early tab, he's already has the tier 2 boots there on the side of Azhi. It's going to be very difficult for Sniper to really find much of anything. If you go in for any sort of a trade, then Gnar can really chase you down and punish you with the hyper proc, with the tier 2 boots. So Sniper is going to be heading off to the other side of the map, and they're going to try to avoid that 1v1. It looks like 100 Thieves likely going to reset and send Tomo out towards top with Eyla. They realize that Sniper is not set up for success in this 1v1, so they're going to have him laning against Betty here and seeing if that's going to work out better for them. Woody's back again. JunJia's just going to hover around mid. 15 seconds till the grubs spawn. PSG on the verge of looking towards 4 or 5 if they can at least scrap the majority in this upcoming objective in 10 seconds. Exactly. Shockwave is back up, of course.
Yep.
And Eyla just about have his flash back from when that was forced at that last grubs. Tomo is up on that top side, but we'll see if 100 Thieves can get pushed. Eyla and Quid trying to do that here while Tomo is up solo on top side. 100 Thieves, if they want to contest that, is going to have a really tough time to actually reconvene and enter the fight, because look where Tomo is compared to the rest of the team. I don't really think they have an angle in here, and if they go too far, they could just be giving up some free kills.
And they could be opening themselves up to something like the curtain call as well. Quid tries to zone out. It looks like 100 Thieves are hungry for it. The ult sent out, but 3 grubs were granted, taken, and given over to PSG. 100 Thieves are still late to the show, and PSG know that if they run into this, they can re-engage. So grubs taken, 100 Thieves spend their time looking at them and get nothing.
Exactly. I mean, Sniper went down to bot side because he had the TP, but part of the problem is, you know, when it's your Varus that's split from the team, he can't threaten on a flanking angle, and he doesn't have time to actually walk all the way around to rejoin with the team. So River wanted to go in, see if he could at least snipe away one of those grubs, but at the end of the day, PSG do get 5. The gold is pretty much dead even, and it's going to come down very likely to 5v5 with these compositions unless Azhi can really continue to open up that lead in side lanes. But Gnar, you know, mostly just takes the side lane leads, gets push, and then brings those to the 5v5s, which is what I'm expecting. But again here, it just feels like PSG is understanding exactly what 100 Thieves want to do at every turn. You know, that's why Woody is going top with Azhi to cover any sort of a dive that River was in position for.
And then look at what happens in response, because Maple can step up, JunJia's nearby in case Sniper tries any all-out, and there's going to be 2 plates taken. Shockwave used for pressure as well. Maple has good wave clear at this point with Lost Chapter. And Azael, there's another plate. He's granted more and more gold, and Dragon on top of the grubs that they just got.
Exactly. I mean, just look at Sniper's position right now. Like, he is put so far down in this lane swap, and now you have a cloth armor and a Phage, and you're laning against someone who's double your CS. We're going to see JunJia in some trouble.
Yeah, Dragon does go down at the very least. Impales there, and Betty cancelled his recall. A deadly flourish, a flash over the wall. Quid now wants a new target, but JunJia gets on out. At least a flash burn, but the objective he came for was taken with ease.
Yeah, they're able to grab that objective, no problem, and Sniper's just getting zoned off all of this farm. I mean, it's half the CS of what Maple
and
is.
Just going to get more plating.
Exactly.
It's a map masterclass right now.
Yeah, they're playing it really, really well. They got 2 plates bot. They're getting multiple plates stop here. He's even going to get another one before this does fall. Sniper is entirely out of this game. And it's going to be a situation where PSG, you know, they got the early objectives. There's no sort of pressure on them to take any fight before they are well and truly ready. And 100 Thieves are going to be in a really, really tough spot.
Again, Azhi, you know, he's not at the top there, but he's the player I'm watching for this game. Tomo, the leader of 100 Thieves, thanks to the earlier kill he got. But you've got a 1.1k gold lead in top lane, a 30 CS lead. Azhi's a player who, you know, historically you wouldn't remember him from the PCS. You remember players like Honeybee up in the top lane. I think another good Gnar player. I don't know why all PCS top laners are so good on Gnar. rest
That champion has been good for like 10 years.
That
so
is also
it is
true.
part of it.
So maybe everyone's just good on Gnar if they're a top laner.
If you're still there, you're probably pretty good on Gnar.
That's true.
But no, I mean, it's very true. You know, he's not one of the maybe the biggest names, but also PSG plays so heavily around him, so they obviously have a tremendous amount of faith in him. And JunJia has an abnormal amount of jungle proximity towards top lane. And Azhi, you know, there's some really interesting stats. That he was 5th overall in the PCS as far as kill participation for first bloods, which is just crazy for a top laner to be, you know, above a bunch of junglers and champions like that are so involved traditionally. So, you know, they really do focus on him. It works for their style. 100 Thieves is going to be over here on this Herald, and this fight could be trouble for them. Quid is not with the team, and I think 100 Thieves are about to get flanked by Azhi and all die.
Yeah, Woody's also on a ward and making that flank happen. As you said, a Mega Gnar about to go right up against the wall. Azael doesn't like it, and I'm sure North America are hating it as well. River caught in an impale, a kill, a take, and Tomo will only survive a little bit longer. And here's Maple to bring it to a conclusion. Quid running for his life, a perfect setup, a triple to the mid laner of PSG, and the PCS are not taking anything today from 100 Thieves.
PSG just wiped the map with 100 Thieves, but what are they even thinking with that contest? Quid is on a base timer. You have 3 people up on top side trying to contest the Herald. When you know Azhi is behind you with Mega Gnar bar fully prepped, this is just about as bad as a setup can get here, 400 Thieves. I mean, look where Quid is. Quid is back in the map, TPing to top side. Sure, he's going to TP in, but there's a TP here. The Gnar is already coming in from above. Like, there's just no way you're ever going to be able to get there in time as Quid. And Sniper's not in the position to even rejoin with the team either. So 100 Thieves, it feels like really nervous in this position, maybe feeling some pressure that they need to contest for an objective, but they weren't set up to do that in any sense of the word.
Spooks looks worried. And Golden Glue as well.
I mean, as he should. This game is really out of hand already. It's 15 minutes in.
And it felt like it started, you know, with the lane swap. It felt like the map movement from PSG was always quicker, always snappier. You look at the MasterCard lane economy snapshot, solo lanes are so far ahead. And when we consider, you know, Maple on PSG, once again, a historic player, not only of the region, but of this team of Flash Wolves back in the day. Azael, I know you can attest to, you are older than me. But Maple is, you know, a big part of this region, if not one of the biggest parts of the PCS. And he's performing well. He's been the best performing member of PSG so far at this tournament, too.
Absolutely. I mean, the featured matchup is River versus Maple. I think back to, like, Maple Carsa and even, you know, even further back when, you know, the LMS, as it was known those days, were really known as the Korean Killers. They were able to take down some really big series against some good LCK teams. Were kind of famous for that and the level that they could perform in those big matches. But 100 Thieves, you know, they took that Herald fight, and that might kind of be the straw that broke Campbell's back in game number 1. You know, it's tough to say that this early on, but yes, they were falling behind, but they were within reach of, hey, you have a good team fight, and maybe you come back. At this point now, you are so far down in gold, it's going to be incredibly difficult for them, and you're starting to get to the point where you have to really rely on PSG making mistakes that they just don't often make.
Oh, ulti against the wall. Wait, the wave's dead. Quid's in trouble. He's taken 2, maybe 3 turret shots. Shielding comes through, and Woody's attempting to play off the dive. Turret might still be going down as Azhi gets down low, but 100 Thieves are still in trouble. The Herald was shaken. This is a free mid push.
Yeah, Eyla trying to come in from behind to try to see if they can find some sort of an angle. Is the Varus all going to miss?
It does. It's all falling apart. North America's 3rd seed are just not getting anything here. And Impale for free. Azhi autos him down, and look who's here. It's meal number 2. A double kill for this Gnar. Bot eventually falls, but no one's there for the local goal, while Maple is having free servings of a dessert in top lane.
It's looking rough for 100 Thieves. PSG are making this look absolutely easy in game number 1, and they're just pushing forward. They're going to take even more.
Here we go. Is the Sejuani tanky enough? Azhi says no, sends him backwards, and River, the once great member of PSG himself, is taken down by his former organization. A 7k gold lead, 5 grubs, a drag, and keeps stacking it up, because PSG in game 1, their adaptation and their glow up so far at Worlds is definitely going up in stocks.
I mean, this is by far the best game PSG have played so far at Worlds. They're looking incredibly clean here, and they have settled on what their meta is going to be, at least for this series. And this composition, I said it as far as the draft was concerned, and even we're coming out of the draft, this is a comp that they could really dominate on. This is kind of their bread and butter style, where they're such strong team fighters. They know how to play out these style of comps where you play 1-4. Traditionally, you know, in the PCS this year, it was a lot of maple side laning on those marksmen, but they can very easily just have Azhi playing through that side lane, and he's set himself up well to do so. So PSG in an incredibly commanding spot here. And 100 Thieves going to try to have to find a miracle or just look towards game 2.
I mean, again, it looks like right now it just feels so hard to come back from. River just jumped into this brush, by the way, and in his brush, he might even die. He doesn't have flash to get on out. He sends an ulti in return, but into Woody, it won't mean a thing. Archer's about to go into Mega, and River almost getting sniped down as there's an Impale again into the middle. Sniper wants to finally fight,
Look
but
at
they're
Maple.
too far behind. Maple's flanking on Orianna. If this doesn't tell you the dire straits they're in as he flashes away, then nothing will. It's only game 1, but at 19 minutes, it's almost done.
Yeah, it's looking pretty over to me. Quid, the lone surviving member here. Maple was on a flank there, coming in 1v1ing Tomo from behind. As an Orianna here, they know the powerful position they're in. Maple 5-0 here on this Orianna at this point. JunJia has been involved in so much as well. Azhi's in an incredible spot. And quietly, Betty is very, very strong as well here. 100 Thieves, you're going to have to start looking towards game number 2.
And I know you wanted to see more from Woody. I think the package is working together, so Woody is too. At least that gives you a bit more. Game 2, a reset for 100 Thieves. Yes, we're already saying that. You can look at the scoreboard. I don't need to read it out again. It is beyond belief at this point. The best game from PSG in the tournament. And we're ready to come into this talking up players like Quid. Oh, what a resurgence he's had. You know, we can mention that in the next game. So many good elements here. But PSG just haven't given it a chance to breathe. There's been nothing that 100 Thieves... Like, I'm looking for positivity in this game from 100 Thieves, and I'm struggling to find it.
Yeah, there's not really anything going for them. You know, I think that early dive bot, you know, went okay. You got the gold on Tomo with the first blood, but that's really about it for them. You know, their setups around these objectives have been really, really bad. They have not been really in the right spot. That Herald, I really do think, kind of sealed their doom in this game. You know, compositionally, I think they were in a 5 spot, but PSG played the map so much better in the lane swap. Sniper was in such a tough spot, and 100 Thieves had to take really weird lane assignments because Sniper got so far behind and he couldn't actually go 1v1 versus Azhi, so it kind of sacrificed some of the rest of the map too. And then from there, you start to feel like maybe these 4 players here who have never even been to Worlds before on 100 Thieves start getting nervous, start feeling like, oh, we need to make something happen, the game's going bad. And then it really starts to spiral, right? Because you're taking fights that you're not set up for, you're taking fights that you're not going to win, and PSG will crush you if you give them those sort of opportunities. There's so much veteran play here over on the PSG side.
And there's almost so many nerves. There's got to be when 100 Thieves are facing down history himself. We saw in the first series today, obviously with LLA versus CB LoL making history of their own, NA's 3rd seed has never been out in play-ins in Worlds. We have seen North American's 3rd seed even. I'll go further to say that Cloud9 in the history of 3rd seed did so well that they were one of the best NA teams at Worlds over the years.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You know, this is, you know, kind of a very young team here that is coming out with 100 Thieves. Obviously, they had a massive upset over Cloud9 to get here. They fell in very convincing fashion in finals weekend to FlyQuest and weren't able to make their way all the way finals, but deservingly, they did qualify here. And we've never had a team actually out in play-ins at Worlds, period. But, you know, this is potentially them going down in this game number 1. Of course, there's a lot of League of Legends left to play. Definitely could come back, but game 1 is looking incredibly difficult to make something happen in.
And in 2024, if it's more like this than PSG, I'm going to start crowning them the potential NA Slayers. MSI, by the way. I'm sorry, I know. I know you're from the region. Azael, 2024 MSI FlyQuest, PSG knocked him out of the play-in stage.
I mean, there's no shame in losing to PSG. This is an incredibly good team.
That's also true.
You know, that I don't think have really shown up in the way that people expected coming into, you know, play-ins. But if they can play like this, they really can challenge top teams. You think back to that MSI, they knocked out FlyQuest, and that was the first time any NA team had ever got knocked in any play-in, period. But then they went 5 games against BLG. They almost took BLG in a best of 5, which is incredible to think about. So PSG, when they are playing at their best, this team really can go toe-to-toe with the very best teams in the world. And if they bring that level, I always knew it was going to be a terrifying series here at 400 Thieves. But PSG, full control of this one. They are 10K up. They've taken all of this vision away. 100 Thieves know they're on the Baron, but the question is, can they actually safely approach?
Well, they can't. Shockwave is the engage, and Tomo has to flash away. The curtain call now out of range, but Maple just takes him, and he can no longer stay. The old, Archer. It shows you, doesn't it? A clean Gnar performance is historic, most played for a reason. And PSG got early lanes, they got an early game, they got an easy one at that. A double for Betty to clean it up. Sniper didn't join because he said, wait, the fight's already done. What am I going to do now?
What an absolute stomp here by PSG. They are dominating in game number 1. Azhi with a beautiful Mega Gnar there, catches multiple members. Tomo just separated from the team. He was walking out trying to clear vision by himself, but really couldn't be there without his team behind him, without River being the one to face check. PSG just choke out 100 Thieves from this game. It's an easy Baron here, 24 minutes in. And with this kind of lead, you have to think they could probably close the game on this Baron power play.
Absolutely, only 24 minutes in, but this Baron is going to wreak havoc. Thank you, Red Bull, and let's start clawing at it because 100 Thieves need a game plan to return in this series. Only a BO3 as we look at the replay.
Yeah, we can watch this replay one more time. I mean, Tomo's trying to actually play for this vision, but, you know, look where the rest of the team is. Eyla is down in mid by himself. I'm not really sure what he was doing there, and River needs to be the one actually, you know, first checking these brushes. You have to be playing further back there if you are Tomo. And, you know, they're just feeling the pressure. They know they're over on Baron. They don't want to go too slow, but at the same time, PSG have completely choked you out, and Azhi is going to punish that to the maximum. As we can see in the picture-in-picture, Sniper just trying to claw some gold here off the map, trying to get something back here. But we'll see if they can even defend their base as this Baron power play is going to get massive, you have to think, with 2 minutes on it, and they're already at the inhibitor towers.
The Sniper's been reacting to top lane turret. He's got to push in himself. He gets some gold back to his credit, but with an impale back, where can you go? There's enough damage here that River, even though he's going to get bailed out for a little bit, will end up dying. So a 4 versus 5 to run into the base with, and Baron's got another minute 50.
Yeah, and no one can answer Azhi at all, so he's just going to kill that mid lane inhibitor, and PSG are pushing forward. They're looking for the win.
Of course they can. JunJia can't die. He's almost a 3-item Skarner, and with the range that they have, PSG now are breaking down turrets, inhibitors to go as well. This will be double. And let's just see if PSG fully commit to the end. What have they got to lose?
Not a lot. I mean, they're in such a strong position. Here they go.
Underneath the Nexus turrets, the full committal doesn't come through. It's just inhibited for now. But PSG have another wave still pushing in. And with Baron, they make it easy. Archer with a knockback is clinical yet again. I feel like I've gone to the doctors and they've given me a full bill of health watching Archer play that Gnar. Nexus turret number 2 will drop with it as well. And in 26 minutes, PSG do not give a single chance for 100 Thieves to breathe at the start of this elimination series.
PSG 1 game away from Swiss. Absolute domination. 20-1 was the final scoreline there in the first game of this series. This was the PSG I was terrified of. True. They looked so incredibly good here. They played it very clean, very clinical across the board. They outplayed 100 Thieves in the individual matchups and heavily across the map.
Right, there was a glow up. It's a great glow up for this third series of PSG's tournament. They've looked better each and every single series that we've seen them. And all I can say is I hope 100 Thieves show up to the party because, again, we've seen some great games from them. We're going to have something to talk about from this team because we know what their capacity is as we go to a short break and see if 100 Thieves can find